Welcome, Fargo Davies High School here in South Fargo. The junior varsity game will be kicking off here momentarily between the Fargo North Spartans and the Fargo Davies Eagles, a game that is unofficially a home game here for Fargo North as they moved the game down from Fargo South to here to so that they can continue to work on the turf field. So once again, 40-minute halves here in JV soccer as well as varsity soccer. Once again, Fargo Davies in the maroonish red jerseys and the Fargo North Spartans in the white jerseys with blue numbers. The varsity game will be coming up after this one here. And we do apologize. We didn't have, we forgot to promote. I think we forgot to promote this game on our social media pages, so certainly apologize for that. The ADs, Lenny for Fargo Davies knew we were going to be here. That's about the only advertisement we did for the game, so do apologize for that. But hopefully you're subscribed to our YouTube channel and you can get those mobile and email alerts when we go on the air. And if you're not, then please do subscribe so that we can, that way you never miss a game. Once again, for Fargo North there are a couple duplicate jersey numbers, but we should be able to easily tell them apart as, for the most part, the duplicate jerseys are on the opposite end of the field. One would be a defender, one would be a forward or midfielder, so it should be a little bit easier to tell those duplicate numbers apart as far as who is who. For Fargo Davies, that was Josh Peterson who just popped it into the middle there, and switching fields is Gabe Benson over to the far side, chasing it down. Was I believe it was Keegan Glover. Let me take a peek through the binoculars there. Yeah, and it was Glover. So out of bounds for Fargo North throw-in. And now the toss will come in to the far side there, and the Eagles will take it away, and the Spartans will get it right back. They'll move it inside there for that. It's Alex. I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name. I didn't get a chance to go over names for the junior varsity team here. Touching up on it. Out of bounds, there's Nathaniel Khaled. Now go out of bounds. We'll make an adjustment on our camera here. All right, so we got that adjustment made there. Whistle sound, and it'll be a goal kick here for Fargo North. Or for Fargo Davies, excuse me. Seth Captain is the goalie here for the Spartans on the junior varsity squad. Over in net for Fargo Davies, we believe it's Raj Smith, but I need to take a peek through the binoculars to make sure on that. I believe it is. It could be Hernandez too. We'll try and double check that here ASAP. On the throw-in here for the Spartans is Nathaniel Khaled, a sophomore defenseman. He'll toss it into, I believe that's Devin Tish, if I'm saying that correctly. Now we booted over to the far sideline there by Josh Worrell. Once again, it's not on our screen like it is during football games, but 373-1843. If you've saved our number in the phone as 1873, please make the adjustment to 1843 because we found out during last Friday's football game that some guy who lives in Jamestown, or some person I should say who lives in Jamestown, has that 73 number, and he was getting a few of our text messages and probably confused him a little bit. So please update that to 1843 in your phone if that's not what you have in your phone presently. That'd be much appreciated. More so by the individual who lives in Jamestown than Spartans varsity team still looking for their first win of the year. They've had a couple ties this year, and they've lost all 4 of their EDC matchups by the final score of 3-0. So I'm not sure if that's like a trend or what, but coincidentally, the Spartans have lost all their games by the score of 3-0. And if they haven't lost, they've tied. Once again, that's for the varsity team. We don't have win-loss records on the JV squads or any season stats or anything like that, so it's just a game-by-game situation here. Throw in from the near side. Go onto the foot of Devin Tish, junior midfielder. Taken away there by Fargo Davies. Savy Jones, no, check that. It's Ahish Bosnet, the sophomore midfielder defender. Now chasing down for it is Mustafa Aboud. He scored a goal in the last junior varsity game against West Fargo Cheyenne. That was a game that the Eagles would lose 7-2. Their varsity team would go on to win 3-2. 2 of those 3 goals scored by Jonas Adams for the Davies Eagles. One of those 2 goals from Adams was a penalty kick to put the Davies in the lead.
Last year I watched the game from the Justice just over in the mark there. She said
so our clock's off by about 10 seconds there. We're going to go ahead and make that adjustment while we have an opportunity to do so. All right, so 32:41 is indeed the correct time. This ball will go outside. A little humid here in the press box. Maybe it's because I'm wearing 2 t-shirts, but I don't know. Figure that one out, though. Picking the ball up, here's Donovan Halovich. Halovich will center it, cross it. Far side, chasing after it there is Pedro Hernandez. So it is indeed Raj Smith in goal, back for the Davies Eagles. As the ball comes back up, far sideline and into the Spartan bench. And that'll be a Davies throw-in. Or no, check that, a Spartan throw-in, I guess. Ball will go out of bounds. That'll be a corner kick here as we open up a couple of windows to kind of reduce the heat in here. Get a little bit of a breeze in here and things will be a lot better. So corner kick here for Fargo North from the far corner. And that kick will come in, and nice kick there from the corner, and the Eagles are able to successfully get that ball outside of the 18. Shot on goal, and that was a nice shot there from just about 20 yards out. I believe that was off the foot possibly of Brady, check that, Hunter Breaker, if I'm saying that correctly. Play will continue, even though I heard the whistle in the background. Not sure what that whistle was for, but drop it back there to Seth Captain. He'll boot it up near side. We'll go out of bounds. A little over 30 minutes to go here in the first half of play. No score between the Eagles and the Spartans. Both teams have 2 shots on net. We need to update that part of our scoreboard here. It's on the foot of Ethan Alm. Alm will kick it up far side there for Hernandez. Hernandez chases it down, slips, and it goes out of bounds for Spartans throw-in. Josh Worrell will have the throw in there for the Spartans, and that'll be immediately touched up there by Fargo Davies. Looking to create an opportunity, a centering pass onto the foot of Ashton Kildee, and that pass to the near side here was taken away by the Spartans, and a nice dribbling foot movement there, ball movement I should say, by the Spartans. Let's see here, that's Devin Tish, a junior midfielder. Now the Davies Eagles will pick it up and boot it out of bounds. Chasing it down, there's Coward, the sophomore for the Spartans. Let's see, he'll toss it in for Fargo North. Along the ball's right on the yellow line, that's still in. As long as the ball is on, any part of that ball is on the line. You can divide that ball into 10 slices. If the 10th slice is on the line and the first 9 are out of bounds, that's still in bounds. The player can indeed touch the ball from outside the yellow line, as long as the ball does not go outside of that yellow line. Nice defense there by Fargo North. I believe that is possibly Charlie Anderson, who took it away and set up the possession here for the Spartans. They'll pop the ball just inside of the goal box there in the direction of Jack Dickinson. He's a freshman. It says here freshman defenseman. Trying to see where he's positioned on the field. It looked like on that particular play he was more of a forward or midfielder position, but on the roster here it says he's a defenseman. Some nice ball movement here by the Spartans once again, keeping the pressure on this side of the field here for Fargo Davies, but now the Eagles will get it over midfield. That is one of the goal scorers, Savvy Jones, from last week against West Fargo Cheyenne. That pass will be booted up, and I believe that's going to be an offsides call there on Hernandez, as he was in front of the last defender, and we'll have a substitution here for Fargo Davies. So just under 26 minutes to go now here as the Eagles will pick it up. So we made a couple more adjustments there on our YouTube channel. So you're not thinking that you're watching a football game. That's Savvy Jones with the ball now. And he tries to center it there, but his teammate didn't quite have enough burst of speed. But it may not matter, as going up on the far side there, I believe that's, can't quite see who that is. He'll center it. Savvy Jones is there, but Seth Captains will scoop it up and keep it out of the net here for the Spartans. No shot on net there as it went right to the, that was a pass that went to the goalie. So remain 2-2 unofficially here for the two teams. Be a throw in from the near side here momentarily. Just under 25 minutes to go, still no score. About a good opportunity for each team, about one each. The other two shots were decent, but probably not what you put into the category as quality scoring chances. Throwing will come into Savy Jones. Jones trying to work the ball around a couple defenders, puts it onto the foot of Halovich. And Halovich will get it right back, and now he has to boot it up and got deflected out of bounds. I believe that was intended for Savy Jones, but as I said, it got deflected off of a foot of a Spartan defender and out of bounds. 24-11 and counting to go here in the first half of play. Also want to send an apology. Last week during the Davies Cheyenne varsity game, our phone was dead, and we had a fan trying to tell us that two players had flip-flopped. So Ryder Schmidt was actually in goal last week for the Fargo Davies Eagles. And then their goalie, Jensen Waltz, was actually playing the defense position that Ryder Schmidt normally plays. And Waltz was wearing Ryder Schmidt's jersey numbers. So that threw us off guard a little bit. And like I said, our phone battery was dead, so we had no way of getting that communication. So we do apologize. We talked to that same individual, and he's 95% sure that Jensen Waltz will be in goal today. This is a shot on net there off the foot of Savy Jones. Nice save there by Seth Captain. And what I can say is that 95% will be 100% by the time we go on the air with the pregame show. So corner kick far side here for Fargo Davies. That one will come in low and be booted out right away there by the Spartan defender over to the far sideline. Chasing it down there is Devin Tisch. I believe he just worked it up onto the foot of Logan Sokolowski, if I'm saying that correctly. Sokolowski will center it. Can't see the jersey number on that player, but that player will get it over there to Soren Bartel, sophomore midfielder wearing number 13. Nice feed up there, and that one will get onto the foot there of Gunnar Schwartz. Schwartz trying to move it in, and the defenders for the Eagles will clear it out. Schwartz making a hustle there to get back to the ball, though. Taps it outside there for Tisch, if I'm saying that correctly. And he'll boot it over far side, and will be in, I believe, a Spartan throw-in. No, it will be an Eagles throw-in. Wasn't sure if the ball went out of bounds before or after Hernandez touched up on it. To crack the 22-minute mark of the first half here. Once again, this game and all of our games available for a 24/7 replay within about 20-30 minutes after the conclusion of our varsity broadcast tonight. On a rare occasion, a JV game does get uploaded during a varsity matchup, but in our experience, for some reason, even though we take a slight break and go off air, the JV game seems to wait until we're done with the varsity game. I don't know if it's like some artificial intelligence on the computer or the software or what, but corner kick for the Spartans ends up on the foot, I believe, far side there of Savy Jones. Can't quite see the jersey number from here. No, it was not Savy Jones. But Savy Jones might have an opportunity here, man. The Fargo North defender gets there first. That was Alex Flores, a sophomore defender. Spartans trying to clear it out. They'll get it onto the foot there, and they're saying he was offsides, and that was close. That was close. Official on the near side here will put up his hand. Not having a flag here, so in the JV game, so I'm assuming hand in the air is the same thing as a flag in the air, and that would represent offsides. So Seth Captain will line it up here from about 25 yards away from the goal and set it up here for the free kick, and he'll boot it over midfield down about the center of the field where the Eagles will touch up on it. Nobody offsides this time if the Eagles can outrun the Spartan defense. And the Spartans will kick the ball out of bounds for Eagles throwing over on the far side with 19:35 and counting to go here in the first half of play. It's a little bit windy out here. It's probably not it's definitely not probably, it's definitely not the warmest day to come out and play a soccer game. Ooh, some pushing, shoving there, no whistle, and Fargo North may have gotten away with one there. That looked intentional from where I was sitting at, but the official was not in agreement with, he must have had a different view on that play than what I did. 18:25 and counting, and a nice attempt there to keep it in bounds there by Nathaniel Khaled, but unfortunately that'll result in an Eagles throw-in. So now we have a couple substitutions here. Going out for the Eagles is Josh Batesel, as well as Savy Jones. Coming in for the Eagles is Josh Peterson and Sakor Youngkade, I believe is how you say it. 17:50 and counting to go here. Ball gets inside the goal box there, and a battle for it. Gunnar Schwartz taps shoulders, and now they're going to award a free kick here for Fargo Davies. That contact was, in my humble opinion, from my point of view, was more allowable than that push down here at the other end. Maybe giving them a little bit of a. The word that I'm trying to look for here has escaped my memory, but call it even, I guess, is the best way to put it. Just over 17 minutes to go here, and the Spartans will try and move it out and do so successfully. And nice little move there by Logan Sokolowski. Spartans here looking for a centering pass, and that goes right into the hands of the goalie, Raj Schmidt. So 3 shots on net for each team, according to our unofficial numbers here. Schmidt will pop it out near side here for Ashton Kildee, a junior forward/midfielder. In this particular game, it appears that he's playing forward. Actually, he might be playing midfield there. It looks like they have 2 forwards instead of 3. (3-5-2) is what it looks like. 3 defenders, 5 midfielders, 2 forwards is kind of what it appears to be at the moment for Fargo Davies. 15-17 to go and counting. Current temperature here in South Fargo is currently 64 degrees. Will probably drop to about 62. Maybe by the time the varsity game finishes up, about 57, 58 degrees. Like I said, it is a little bit cool there. We apologize for that momentary kind of glitch there in the video. Nothing that anybody did wrong. It was just a technical thing. Throw-in will come down the near sideline, booted over the back line here, and that should be a corner kick, I believe, here for Fargo North. Once again, 64 right now. We'll drop to 62 by the time the JV game comes to a conclusion. We'll start the varsity game with a temperature of 62 and drop to the upper 50s, as low as possibly 57 degrees by the time that junior varsity game ends up. Comes to a conclusion. Cloudy right now. There's a 10% chance of rain. So an unlikely chance of rain, but when that thunderstorm rolled through the Fargo-Moorhead area here about 7 o'clock last evening, my phone said a 10% chance of rain as well. So who knows what that chance of rain actually is. We're on the way to a low of 45 tonight. Go to our website, check out the list of all the upcoming games, msportsnet.com. We've finalized a couple of games for the Minnesota Sports Station finally. Of a couple of volleyball games in mid-October for you. Still no score here as the ball will scoot out of bounds for an Eagles throw-in. Just a little under 13 minutes to go in the first half. That ball will get loose, and captain will pick it up and allow his teammates to advance downfield here, and now he'll boot it away. Just shy of midfield where the Eagles will intercept it. I believe that was Nunez who touched up on it, and now far side. Far side, that was Luke Essinger. So 12:09 to go here in the first half. Seems to be a little bit breezy outside as I hear through the our crowd mic there. Current wind speed right around 15 miles per hour at the moment. Once again, 64 degrees, a slight chance of rain in the forecast for this evening, but at 10%, we would suspect that probably won't occur. So battle for the ball here. Looks like the Eagles will touch up on it finally, and now the Spartans will take it away, and like a pinball goes right back and forth to each team after every single touch. Now it finally goes out of bounds here, and chasing it down for the Eagles will be Noah Greenleaf, a junior defenseman for the Eagles. And he was going to make the toss, but he will get subbed out. Coming in for Greenleaf is Josh Batesel, and making the toss here is Josh Peterson. I believe it's Peterson. 6 or 16. If it's 6, it's Gabe Gardner. It's 16, it's Peterson. And he'll get it up in the direction there, Ethan Alm. Alm was in a good position, but that Spartan defender was a little bit quicker. That was Alex Flores, the sophomore defender, as they'll go out of bounds. And Eagles have a chance to throw it in here from a little bit closer towards the net than the last opportunity, the last throw-in. No stoppages in play here. This first half is rolled right on by. Along the back line, the ball will roll out of bounds, and Ethan Alm was the closest Eagle to that one. I do see a little bit of sprinkles on the press box window here. As long as it doesn't become more than a sprinkle, we can keep our camera where it's at. We do everything in our power to keep our camera, to keep a pane of glass not in between our camera and the action. Just looks better that way, but sometimes weather and the amount of money needed to replace it if the weather doesn't cooperate will force that pane of glass to go in front of it. So battle for the ball right around midfield. Neither team with clear possession at the moment. That ball will get loose, and that'll be Savvy Jones. Savvy Jones puts a shot on, but he had a couple defenders right on him there and wasn't able to get the type of swing on the ball that he wanted. It will go into the books as a shot on net, but it won't be a quality scoring opportunity here for Fargo Davies. The ball comes back to about midfield. And now the bull whistle there, that'll be a free kick for Fargo Davies. Comes from about, let's see where they set the ball up at. Yep, it will be about 50 yards away from the net. .841 to go here in the first half. Seth Captain, the junior goalkeeper for the Spartans, will set it up at the 6, and a low boot that lands about 40 yards away from the goal. Eagles initially touched up on it. Spartans trying to take it away. End up on the foot there of Raj Smith. So that would put Pedro, let's see here. Pedro Hernandez back in goal now for the Eagles. And they made that switch last game about this time in the first half as well. So Raj Smith has the bright yellow shoes here on the near side. That'll be easy to remember. Back around the 50-yard line here, just off camera, and that's okay, is Halovich wearing the bright orange shoes. I believe that'll be a Davies throw-in, as I believe his last touch by the Spartans. So a little over 7 minutes to go here in the first half of play, and it's still scoreless between the Spartans and Eagles here in the junior varsity game. Varsity game to follow this one here on the ND Sports Channel. Throwing into the far sideline, immediately goes out of bounds once again. Ball float out of bounds here for a Spartan throw-in. Making the toss is Josh Worrell, I do believe. Once again, there's two number 17s. Worrell plays defense. Bryce Atkins plays forward. So I would presume that that's Josh Worrell on the backside here. I don't see another 17 out there at the moment, so. And we'll have to get new batteries in on that on our crowd mic there, as it just went out. So we'll get that fixed here. We have about 5 minutes to go in the first half of play. A free kick from midfield. That'll be headed way up, and captain will gobble it up there with the Davies forward there, challenging, but captain will get it away and boot it away. Shot on net a little high there, but a nice shot nonetheless there by Fargo Davies. Once again, unofficially, 5-3 on the shots on net in favor of the Eagles. We've got the new batteries in the crowd mic there. Find the nearest garbage can and toss these. They're not rechargeable batteries. I should probably get some of those. That might help out. Save some cash there on batteries in the future. 3:07 and counting to go here in the first half of play. Comes onto the foot of Raj Smith. And that one will get ricocheted out of bounds. I do believe it'll be an Eagles throw-in. No. Apparently it'll be a Spartan throw-in. I thought it went off that ricochet there. It went off a white jersey, but I guess I was incorrect. Spartans trying to advance it. It was immediately touched up and poked away there by the Eagles, but the Spartans get it right back. Now they try the through ball and nobody's there, and the Eagles defenders will boot it out of bounds. 2.5 to go, first half, no score. Shots on net, 5-3 in favor of the Fargo Davies Eagles. Two minutes to go in the first half. Let's see if somebody can get one final shot on goal here before halftime and maybe get a lead. Nice play there by Gabe Benson to knock it out of bounds and temporarily stop the forward momentum of the Spartans there. Minute 40, etc. Throw-in will be tossed by Henry Moggan. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, and I apologize. Whistle offside, and that will be a Davies kick. Minute 20 and counting. Well, minute 21, I guess. Got a couple seconds ahead of myself there. Well, come up to midfield. It's touched up and taken away there by, we're going to go with Charlie Anderson. There's two number 3s, and one's a junior, one's a freshman. Other than that, I have no way of telling apart. The other one's Danny Monatakwa, if I'm saying that correctly. So it's either Monatakwa or Anderson, number 3 there for Fargo North. Just under a minute, 45 and counting. Throw in from the far side here for Fargo Davies. Can they generate one more opportunity here before halftime? They will put a shot on goal, but that whistle will stop the shot. Or at least I thought there was a whistle. 24 seconds. Still time here for one of the teams to possibly get an opportunity. Fargo North trying to make it the Spartans' opportunity here. 10 seconds to go as the ball goes out of bounds. 5 seconds. And that'll bring us to halftime. 0-0. Eagles and the Spartans, Junior Varsity, shots on net, 6-3. We'll take a timeout here and be back with the second half in a few minutes on the ND Sports Channel.
Diamond Academy and Magnitude Sports Media Network are providing a huge opportunity for high school athletes. Player profile videos shine the spotlight on a skill set required for a position in a particular sport. Whether you play softball, track and field, or any other sport, if you're a sophomore or junior, it's time to schedule your video. Most tapings take less than an hour and can save you thousands when a recruiter puts your name in the starting lineup for a college scholarship. For more information, click on Player Profiles at msportsnet.com or call us at 701-373-1843.
Download Game Time today.
Magnitude Sports Media Network is your home for all types of sports programming in a 3-state region. Over 500 previous games are available right now on demand. Since 2017, we've brought you an average of 275 games a year, including junior varsity and varsity matchups across 8 different sports. Now we're on pace for the same amount of games this year. It's a whole lot of sports, and it's all right here, where North Dakota, Minnesota, and South Dakota teams play. This is the Magnitude Sports Media Network.
Good sportsmanship. It will carry you further in life than sports. Growing up in North Dakota, I learned to respect my opponents, the coaches, and the officials. The values of fairness and teamwork carried me to the highest level in my sport and allowed me to live my dream of playing football in the NFL. It doesn't matter if you're on the stage, the playing field, or in the stands. We are all better when we show respect for others and practice good sportsmanship. Carry yourself with dignity. Being gracious makes the losses easier and the victories that much sweeter. So when the lights on the playing field, the stage, or the gym floor dim, you'll always have pride in yourself.
North Dakota Softball All-Stars podcast with Tim Howe keeps you up to date year-round on the sport of softball in the state of North Dakota. Coach and player interviews, who's moving on to play college softball, and that, well, guess what? That simply scratches the surface of this Grand Slam softball podcast. A new episode every week during the softball season and every month during the off-season. Listen anytime on demand on the ND Sports Channel, a Magnitude Sports Media Network station.
This isn't Madison Square Garden. These drills probably won't make anyone a #1 draft pick. But these players are practicing for something important. While they work on their jump shots, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, how to deal with wins and losses. Skills that will make them winners long after they leave the court. Support high school activities in your community, because when kids take part, they get set for life. This stage is nowhere near Broadway, and none of these actors will be accepting an Oscar anytime soon. Still, they are rehearsing for something important. While they learn their lines, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, that everyone has a part to play. Skills that will make them stars long after the curtain falls. The National Federation of State High School Associations reminds you that when kids take part in high school activities, they get set for life. National studies show that students who participate in activities like music, sports, and drama not only have better grades and attendance, but they develop the character to handle adversity, the grace to accept defeat, and the self-confidence to start over. Take part. Get set for life. Just a reminder, kids who participate in high school activities tend to go a little farther than those who don't. Take part. Get set for life.
All right, welcome back. So it's 0-0 here at halftime of the junior varsity game. Shots on net in favor of the Eagles. They'll double up on the Spartans 6-3 unofficially here. Of course, those are within probably exact or within about one of the unofficial shots on net. We'll do our best to identify the Fargo North players. I did talk to the coach here during the halftime break. A couple players we don't have on the roster. Couple players that maybe switched jersey numbers, and Aiden Erickson is in goal instead of Seth Captain, and Captain is out for temporarily with an injury here, so he'll be back in the near future. And then there's also a couple players that we didn't have on our original roster that they added recently. So, but everything's all good. We'll do our best we can to give credit to the players, and if we miss one, we do apologize in advance for that. Once again, the varsity game coming up here about 7 o'clock or so, sometimes 7:01 and 7:02, right in that general area. That will feature the Fargo Davies Eagles and the Fargo North Spartans as well. And that one's coming up once again at about 7 o'clock. So we're about 2.5 minutes away from the start of the second half. Knotted up at 0 apiece here between the Spartans and Eagles. This is an unofficial home game for the Spartans. The Spartans are getting a turf field up at their home high school up in North Fargo. So they had been playing their home games at Fargo South, but I believe Fargo South had a conflicting event at their school tonight. So as a result, they moved the game down here to Fargo Davies High School. So Fargo Davies, unofficially the road team playing on their home field, if you want to look at it that way here. Once again, we're about 2 minutes away. We'll be back with the second half right after this on the Andy Sports Channel.
Good sportsmanship. It will carry you further in life than sports. Growing up in North Dakota, I learned to respect my opponents, the coaches, and the officials. The values of fairness and teamwork carried me to the highest level of my sport and allowed me to live my dream of playing football in the NFL. It doesn't matter if you're on the stage, the playing field, or in the stands. We are all better when we show respect for others and practice good sportsmanship. Carry yourself with dignity. Being gracious makes the losses easier and the victories that much sweeter. So when the lights on the playing field, the stage, or the gym floor dim, you'll always have pride in yourself.
This isn't Madison Square Garden. These drills probably won't make anyone a #1 draft pick. But these players are practicing for something important. While they work on their jump shots, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, how to deal with wins and losses. Skills that will make them winners long after they leave the court. Support high school activities in your community, because when kids take part, they get set for life.
All right, welcome back. We're ready to go here, almost. Anyway, the horn sounded. The clock is set at 40 minutes for the second half of play here from Fargo Davies High School. And as I always joke, extreme South Fargo. But we love coming down here, and we want to thank our activities director, Lenny Olhauser, for allowing us to set up here and take advantage of the warmth that the players don't have right now. It's in low 60s, upper 50s for the current temp. 62 actually, as the sun appears to have a little bit more shine to it. In that first half we had a mostly cloudy sky, but now you look up and you can see some blue, and the clouds have moved off towards the south here, those darker clouds that were over the field when we started this game. And that's probably a good thing here, because we did have sprinkles on the press box window during that first half, but those sprinkles have since evaporated and we're good to go. So we're underway now here in the second half of play. Clock's about 1 second off, just an FYI on that. We'll get it adjusted at the next opportunity. Fargo Davies moving from right to left as I see it, and you see it on your screen. Fargo North in their white jerseys moving from left to right as you see it on your screen. That's Henry Malgin with the ball, and that just got taken away there by Ethan Alm. That'll be touched up there on the Spartans once again. I believe that's Soren Bartel, a sophomore midfielder for the Spartans, number 13 out there. And Mustafa Aboud will touch up on it and switch the ball over to the far side, and chasing after it is Ashton Kildee, a junior forward / midfielder for the Eagles. All right, so we made the adjustment on our clock there. 38:47 is indeed the correct time. So once again, update on the goalie. It's Aiden Erickson, a sophomore. Also plays defenseman at times for the Spartans. On this particular occasion, he's in the goal. And so far, he's done a successful job at keeping it out of the net, as has the two players who have played goalie in this game thus far for Fargo Davies. They started out with Raj Smith, and with about 7-8 minutes remaining in the first half, they flipped it and put Pedro Hernandez in goal. So corner kick here for the Eagles. Nice boot inside, right inside the top of the 18. That's headed out to the far side, out of bounds for a Fargo North goal kick. That ball will be touched up there. I believe that was Savvy Jones. And let's take a peek through the binoculars, and yes, it is him. And now Mustafa Aboud will touch up on it, and that'll be cleared away by the Fargo North Spartan defenders all the way down to the Fargo Davies goalie, who will touch up on it about 25 yards away from the net over to the far sideline. The ball will roll out of bounds for a Spartan throw-in. 37 minutes to go here, second half of play. No score. Shots on net, 7-3 in favor of the Eagles, 1-0 in favor of the Eagles here in the second half, as it was 6-3 at halftime unofficially on the shots on net. And he was just barely onside, but I believe that's Bryce Atkins, number 17 for the Spartans. Now that is Mustafa Aboud. He had a goal last week against West Fargo Cheyenne. The other goal scorer was Savvy Jones in that 7-2 loss in the junior varsity game to the Mustangs. And that one just missed. That was off the foot of Savvy Jones, and it looked like he had good positioning on the shot there, but it just went a little wide. And will remain scoreless. That was probably the best opportunity of the game for either team here in this contest so far. I want to go up and over the coach on the far sideline there for the Eagles. 35-37, throwing for the Spartans. No score here. That ball will escape, and it'll be a race, one-on-one, far side. And let's see here, peek through the binoculars. I believe that on the far side there, it's Gunnar Schwartz who was battling up for it. Alongside Fargo Davies, Josh Peterson. Schwartz a sophomore, Peterson a freshman for their respective teams. Just under 35 minutes to go. Once again, shots on net, 8-3 in favor of the Eagles. Now be booted into the side of the net. For yet another shot on net here for the Eagles. So now it's 9-3, 3-0 in the second half. Scoot that out to the far side, and they'll try and work the ball up the far sideline. Coming onto the foot there, Esteban Nunez. Nunez, a freshman for the Eagles. 34-10, excuse me, and counting. We had no stoppages in the clock in the first half. I think that's the first time that's ever happened on all the games that I've called in both boys and girls soccer. We like it when that happens. Of course, this season here, especially this boys season, we've seen the most yellow and red cards than we have in any other boys or girls soccer season since we started doing soccer here on the ND Sports Channel. That's a nice move by About. He's going to turn in. Shot on goal right on. That's going to be saved. And the Spartan defenders will be able to clear it out. And it looks like our video is frozen there, and we will see if we can't. There we go. Now it's back. We apologize for that. Sadie Jones over on the far side there for Fargo Davies with just under 32 minutes to go here in a scoreless game in the second half between the Eagles and the Spartans. Both teams with a couple of opportunities. Fargo Davies had the best opportunity early on here in the second half of the entire game for either team. Nice defensive play to boot it out of bounds for a Spartan throw-in over on the far side there with 31.5 to go here in the second half of play. Spartans haven't gotten a shot on goal yet here in the second half. They had 3 in the first half. And that's where they sit at the moment. Throwing it in from the far side is Gunnar Schwartz. Schwartz will toss it in. I believe that is, I'm not sure. I want to say that's Alex Ugernoff. I'm pretty sure I did not say that correctly. Here's an opportunity, and it's in. I'll stop the clock with 30 minutes and 57 seconds to go, and it's a 1-0 lead here. Or no, it's not. It's not a 1-0 lead. They were calling them offside, so we'll let our clock continue to roll. Clock's off by about 1 second here, just so you're aware, and we'll make that adjustment here in a moment. So no goal. This player was offside. And now the Eagles will try and create an opportunity here. And Pedro Hernandez was dangerously close to being offsides there a couple of seconds ago. Nice job there by Gabe Benson to boot it over to the far side and stop that Fargo North attack. Spartans will toss it in. It'll be touched up there by Fargo Davies and popped right back out of bounds. And that will be a corner kick here for Fargo North. So we'll take that opportunity to make our adjustment on the clock. So we'll have to chase down the ball there. All right, now the clock is on. Should be 28:48. And a corner kick from the far side here for Fargo North. Now come right to the top of the box. Touching up on it is Raj Smith. On the corner kick was Gunnar Schwartz. Or no, check that. It was Matt Arts, number 10, not number 5. And the question was, he onside? He may not have been. He may have gotten lucky there. And Fargo Davies will get a free kick. This kick will come from about 34 yards out. They'll put it right on goal, and a whistle, and he's like, got to back it up. That's not where you should have kicked it from. So Fargo Davies will get another free kick here, and they'll come from a couple yards further away than the initial attempted kick. So 35 yards out. Taking the kick is Esteban Nunez, who scored a goal last week against the Mustangs. He'll put it right on net, and it'll be a little bit over to the far side. 10 shots on net now. 6 in the first half, 4 in the second half so far here for Fargo Davies. (4-1) in favor of the Eagles here in the second half on shots on net. (26.5). Spartan offense trying to create an opportunity here. We have a player down for the Eagles, and that player is, they'll stop the clock with 26:07. That player was at Ahish Basnet, I believe, who is making his way off the field right now. Sophomore midfielder defender. Looks like he'll be okay. Just needs to maybe get a muscle or leg stretched out possibly. 26:05 and counting. And our clock is right on. 26 minutes to go. Might be a half a second off, but we're okay with that half a second. So corner kick far side here for the Spartans. Taking the kick there is Matt Arts, a junior. He'll put it inside. That'll be booted away, and a whistle and a free kick here for Fargo Davies. Be touched up there by Keegan Glover, a freshman. And the Spartans will take it back, and they'll put a shot on, and it'll be scooped up. So 10-5 now. Shots on net, still don't score. So it'll be a throw-in from the near side here. Toss that one in the direction of Matt Arts. And the Eagles will get it out of there. Spartans will send it right back in. Try and set something up, and that will go on the books as another shot on net. Spartans keeping the pressure on here as they move the ball once again, and they'll put it towards the net one more time. So they're starting to create some opportunities here, and if this keeps up, they might get a really good one in the near future. Back in the first half here, if you would have asked me what I thought the final score would be, I was probably going to say 0-0 tie, but now I'm starting to wonder if one of these teams might put one in. Right now, Fargo North looking pretty good in the last 3 to 4 minutes here. Loose ball, finally scooped up there by the Eagles, but the Spartans keep the pressure on, and they keep the men on, and they keep that ball moving towards the net that they wanted to move towards. 23 minutes to go here as the Eagles struggling to keep the ball out of this half of the field. So the throw-in will come down towards the back line, and it'll go out of bounds and roll out of bounds for a goal kick. Spartans will touch up on it. Once again, nice ball movement to bring it back towards the Fargo Davies net. He'll get around the defender. Will he look for a centering pass or put it right on? And, oh, it just went to the outside of the net. Another shot on net. Like I said here, in the last 2 to 3, maybe 4 minutes, Spartans have looked pretty good on the attack here. They haven't been able to slide one in between the posts. It's always been on the outside of the post. But they've certainly gotten some great opportunities here, and that's what you need to put the points on the board. Scooped up by the goalie there, and he'll boot it away. And we'll see if Fargo Davies can get the ball beyond midfield. Not this time around. And now it finally does crack the midfield mark, but once again, the Spartans are right there. And Fargo Davies trying so hard to get an opportunity, and they get close, but players just not quite in the right position. To take full advantage of the opportunities that they're almost creating here for themselves. You could almost say the same for Fargo North, only they've had a little bit more of the momentum on their side, you could say, in the last 5 minutes or so. So multiple substitutions here for both teams, or at least for Fargo North. At least 7 or 8 there for Fargo North that all came in at once. We'll try and track down who's who here and momentarily. Tell you that Andrew Anderson, a sophomore, is in, number 24 on defense for Fargo North. And now back the other way. Here's a through ball, and that's going to be close. And that could be, oh, Fargo Davies defenders there to keep it out of the net. What a play there by, let's take a peek through the binoculars. That was Josh Batesel, who was the last hope for Fargo Davies to keep that one out of the net there, as their goalie came out and tried to win the race on the oncoming Fargo North Spartan forwards. And well, Spartans were able to get the ball past the goalie, but they were not able to get it past Josh Batesel. Now up the near sideline, some nice footwork there by Pedro Hernandez, the sophomore. Will be popped out of bounds by the Fargo North Spartan, Andrew Anderson. Now come right back out of bounds for another throw-in. Once again, if you're just tuning in here, shots on net, 6-3 in favor of the Eagles at halftime. And now 5-4 in favor of the Spartans here in the second half. That was close to being a handball on Nunez there, but ball will go out of bounds for a Spartan throw-in. And that was the right call. There'll be another Spartan throw-in as the ball was out of bounds when he touched up on it. Player can be out of bounds when they touch the ball inbounds, but they can't be reversed like it was in that situation. 18.5 to go here in the second half of play. We're still scoreless here. Davies Eagles had a really good opportunity on goal here right as the second half got underway in the first minute or two. And then it was kind of back and forth for a couple of minutes. And in the last 5 minutes or so, it's been primarily Fargo North on the attack and putting the pressure on here. Once again, the varsity game coming up here at about 7 o'clock. That's about 45 minutes away. So you have about 18 minutes to go in this one. I think it's a 10 or 20 minute break between games, and then of course, we won't be off for that long. We will have a pregame show to kind of eat up some of that time between games. So we'll only be off for a couple of minutes as the ball will go over the back line, and I believe that's going to be a goal kick. Or is it a corner kick? Yep, it will be a goal kick here for Fargo Davies. Wasn't sure who touched it last. So clock about a second off there, as you might notice. The camera's down on this side of the field. We can see how much that clock is off by. Not by much. If it's off by more than a second, I'll usually make the adjustment. Usually I don't have to make too many adjustments, and I like that. This new software that we have worked far better than the software we had last year for clocks. We gave up on clocks on all sports last year. But it's nice to have one here on the soccer matchup. Still working on some of the other sports for a clock, but do the best we can there. Once again, Fargo North keeping the ball on this side of the field here. Davies defenders not making it as easy as they were, say, a few minutes ago for Fargo North, but now the Eagles will clear it to the near side onto the foot of Alex O. O is a freshman, forward/midfielder. That ball will bounce out. Racing up on it there is, I believe that's Brody Milliard, excuse me. And they'll chase that one down out of bounds. It'll eventually be a throw-in here. Matter of fact, that'll give us an opportunity to make an adjustment on our clock. We'll wait till it gets down to the 15-minute area there. And the Eagles will clear it. Spartans will get it right back in, but the Eagles defenders right there to not make it easy. Back and forth like a pinball machine, and that one will go a little bit wide right as the airplane travels over the Fargo Davies football/soccer field here. A lot of clouds to our south, a lot of clouds off to the northeast. But a little bit of clearing here over and or near the field of play here. There is some darker clouds above us here. There's a 10% chance of rain, but we saw some sprinkles earlier in the first half of this junior varsity game, but nothing since then. And here's another opportunity, and oh, he couldn't get his foot on it, but maybe, no, that one will be ricocheted off to the side, and two nice opportunities there for Fargo North. They couldn't cash in on them. Trying to make a move there. I believe that's Hunter Brager possibly, or Brady Scuffsa. One of the two. There's two number 9s on the roster, so I'm not sure which one it is. Does that ball go out of bounds? 14:20 and counting to go here for second half of play. It was almost, it kind of seemed like Fargo North choked up on those last two opportunities there because they were in a really good position. All they had to do was get a foot on the ball, and it would be up to the Fargo Davies goalie if that was going to go in or out. But Fargo North could not get the shot on net that they wanted, and as a result, it was a very easy save for the Fargo Davies goalie. But they've had plenty of opportunities here in the last 10 minutes or so. And if those opportunities continue, I would suspect they'll cash in on one of them eventually here. 13.5 to go. Far sideline, now they'll center it in. Get it onto the foot there of Henry Malgin. Malgin is a freshman, if I'm saying that correctly. If I'm not, I apologize. 13-11 counting to go here. Second half, scoreless between the Eagles and the Spartans. And that will be Gabe Gardner. Gardner will see that one pop away, but it will be quickly picked up by Alex O, who will center it into the field there onto the foot of Ethan Alm. Alm will move it over far side. Now they'll try and advance it up, but nobody was there for the Eagles. Spartans momentarily touched up on it, but getting back to it was Alex O. I believe that's Alex O on the far side there. That one will be chipped up, and touching up on it is Ethan Alm. Alm will switch direction, look for a centering pass. It's taken away by the Spartan defender, and now a shot, and that one will go a little bit wide right. That's the first shot in the direction of the net in quite some time here for the Fargo Davies Eagles. They did have 4 quality shots early on in the second half here. Once again, Aiden Erickson is the goalie here for Fargo North, and that one will be popped up and immediately touched up by Alex O. And then I'll hop out of bounds for a Spartan throw-in. 12 minutes to go here in the second half. Spartan throw in there as the pass was intended for Alex O. Come in, touched up there by Henry Moggan. And Fargo North will move it upfield, racing after it. There's Keegan Glover for the Eagles, but winning that battle on the far side there is Gunnar Schwartz. 11-11 and counting to go here as the Spartans trying to create another opportunity here as they've had a handful of them recently. And that opportunity will be taken away for the moment here and advanced upfield. Fargo North defender will chase it down. I believe that's Alex Flores, a sophomore for the Spartans. He'll throw it in from the far sideline. It'll be immediately touched up by an Eagle. Ball will go out of bounds into the Eagles bench. And now we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 substitutions for the Eagles at the next break in play here. 10:28 and counting. Touching up on it on the far side there is Keegan Glover. Now work the ball back in. I believe that was Gabe Benson who touched it, and now it's out of bounds for a Spartan throw-in. 10:10 counting to go here in the second half. And he'll be offsides, just barely offsides, but he was offsides. 9:47 and counting to go now here in the second half. Once again, if you're not familiar with that offside rule, if it's over midfield, then the offensive player cannot be in front of the final defensive player when the pass is made. If the pass is made and then he crosses over that defender, he would be technically onside. Once again, last defender's not the goalie, and that one just misses to the far side. Near opportunity there for the Eagles. And that just seems to be the story of the game here for both teams. Eagles have had a total of 3 or 4 quality scoring opportunities here in the game on their 12 shots on net. The Spartans have had about 4 or 5 on their 8 shots on net. Once again, shots on net are unofficial. 8:40 and counting to go as Aiden Erickson will pop it away, and that'll be a possible opportunity here for Fargo North. Shot on net just a little bit wide to the left of the post. And that came off the foot of Henry Maugan. And now he'll pick the ball up right away. He'll work around the defender here, but the ball eventually comes loose and is booted out of bounds. Far sideline for a Spartan throw-in. Just under 8 minutes to go here in the second half. Spartans trying to put one in, and they spent most of the last 10 minutes down on this end of the field. Minus that one near opportunity there for the Eagles in the last minute or so. Nice job to keep it in bounds there by Abowd, sophomore. And they'll send it through for Abowd. Abowd being challenged there by one of 2 number 7s for, oh wait, that was number 17. One of 2 number 17s. Shot on goal, and it's in, and the Fargo Davies Eagles are on the board. And it comes with 7:10 to go here in the second half. So it took 13 shots on net for the Eagles to score. So our clock's about 2 seconds off. We'll make an adjustment ASAP. .650 as of right now. Fargo Davies, that's about. He'll get by the Fargo North defender, and then that same defender, it's either Bryce Atkins or Josh Worrell. I'm going to guess it's Josh Worrell. It'll be a corner kick from the near side here for Fargo Davies. He'll get it onto the foot there, Nunez. Nunez will get the centering pass was deflected back towards midfield. Now a little pushing, shoving there, and Fargo Davies will win the battle. They'll advance the ball back upfield, and Nunez is unable to keep it in bounds for a Spartan throw-in. On the ground there is Ahish Basnet. And I believe that will stop the clock possibly, and it will. 5:39 is where we'll stop the clock at. As Basnet, the sophomore, is on the ground. It appears he's holding his left leg. More like his left ankle as I take a peek through the binoculars here. And they will send the medical staff out here to take a look at him. And we will take a 30-second timeout here as they attend to Basnet. Here it's 1-0 Fargo Davies. Back in a moment on the Andy Sports Channel. North Dakota Softball All-Stars podcast with Tim Howe keeps you up to date year-round on the sport of softball in the state of North Dakota. Coach and player interviews. Who's moving on to play college softball, and that? Well, guess what? That simply scratches the surface of this Grand Slam softball podcast. A new episode every week during the softball season and every month during the off-season. Listen anytime on demand on the ND Sports Channel, a Magnitude Sports Media Network station.
Download Game Time today.
Good sportsmanship. It will carry you further in life than sports. Growing up in North Dakota, I learned to respect my opponents, the coaches, and the officials. The values of fairness and teamwork carried me to the highest level in my sport and allowed me to live my dream of playing football in the NFL. It doesn't matter if you're on the stage, the playing field, or in the stands. We are all better when we show respect for others and practice good sportsmanship. Carry yourself with dignity. Being gracious makes the losses easier and the victories that much sweeter. So when the lights on the playing field, the stage, or the gym floor dim, you'll always have pride in yourself.
All right, welcome back. 1-0 Fargo Davies here with 5.5 to go in the second half of play. Coming out of a short pause in the action, the sophomore Ahish Basnet for Fargo Davies Eagles looks like I hope it's not serious, but it kind of looked a little bit serious. He needed some assistance to get off the field. He was holding his left ankle, and anywhere from that ankle to the knee area, if you injure that part of the leg, it could possibly not be good news. Seen a lot of non-contact ACL and MCL tears, and I'm not saying that's what he has, and I don't have any official diagnosis, but usually that's the part of the leg that gets injured when an injury like that occurs. Now, hopefully it's not that serious, but if we get any updates, we'll certainly pass that along to you, but hopefully he'll be okay and it's nothing serious. Once again, you see a lot of those non-contact injuries, especially in football and soccer. Those are probably the two most common sports for that type of injury to occur. So, but like we said, we hope it's nothing serious, and I know they're looking at him on the sideline here, and if we get any information, we'll pass that along to you. 1-0 Fargo Davies, a little over 4 minutes. That one's popped away out of bounds. Shots on net, 13-9 in favor of the Eagles. Spartans looking to tie it up here. They've had plenty of opportunities late in the second half here, but they haven't been able to put any of them into the net. They've come very close. They had one play where they got by the goalie, but they couldn't get by Josh Batesel, who's the junior defenseman who decided to take a couple steps back and protect that goal when his goalie was diving for the ball up near the 18. And that will be a whistle, and let's see here, a free kick for Fargo Davies. It's got a little over 2 minutes now. We just fixed the phone number in the scroll there. Said 1873. It's 1843. And we've been doing our best to fix all of those as popped up occasionally. And apparently 73 belongs to an individual who lives in Jamestown. I found that out the hard way this past Friday when people were texting in during that Oak Grove Shiloh Christian football game. Which last time I looked at the numbers, we were approaching 400 viewers on that game. So we thank you very much for watching that football game last Friday night. It was a good one to start out with, especially if you're a Grovers fan, but then the Skyhawks kind of took off with that game starting in the second quarter, and the Oak Grove didn't do too much after that one, though. If you do have Oak Grove fans watching this game, we'll have your next football game coming up in October. I believe it's the last game of the regular season against the Northern Cass Jaguars. We'll have that game for you here on the ND Sports Channel, so you can circle that one on your calendar. That one will be played up in Northern Cass in Hunter, North Dakota, or just on the outskirts of Hunter, I guess you could say. In the Palace on the Prairie, as my good friend Jack Michaels would say, and a couple of others too. Just under a minute to go here in the junior varsity game. Once again, the varsity game coming up after the conclusion of this one. We'll go off air for a couple of minutes, get things set for the pregame show, and come back on air for the varsity matchup between these same two teams. Tell you a little bit more about the varsity teams in that pregame show. Take a look at some of the other games being played around the EDC and the WDA. We'll take a look at the EDC and WDA standings and show you who's sitting where at this point in the season. We're about 5 games in for most teams. Some teams have 6, 7 games under their belt now. The ball pop away, and that'll be a Mustafa About, excuse me, and that will be your final score. Fargo Davies wins the junior varsity match by the score of 1-0. Shots on net, 13-9 unofficially here for the Fargo Davies Eagles. That will wrap it up. We'll go off air and be back in a few moments here. The preceding was a presentation of the ND Sports Channel on the Magnitude Sports Media Network.